So I've been journaling every day for, I don't know, probably 10 or 15 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of what that practice looks like, I do it in the morning, maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Um, it usually involves some sort of like gratitude practice and then just kind of like dumping my brain out onto the page after.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the mindfulness stuff, I really go into spurts. I used to have like the Headspace app and the Calm app and stuff, and kind of do it from like a guided perspective. I think there's a lot of value in that, especially if you're starting from scratch. But I also think that at the same time, that's a reason why a lot of people give up. They think
Mm-hmm.
that that's the only way that they can do it, and they start it, and they get to day 10, and they're kind of like, "Fuck this, I don't like this." So I do change it up and do different things as well. Two other ways that I do it, three other ways that I kind of practice it on a regular basis, or number one, just like breath meditation, or like when I'm like feeling anxious or stressed, I'll do some like box breathing. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but basically like taking your conscious attention away from whatever the fuck you're focusing on the breath, four in, four at the bottom, four out, four at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Doing that, 5 or 6 times, not only like takes your attention away from like whatever you're getting fucked up about, but it also like calms your nervous system and chills you out a bit. So I do
Mm-hmm.
that like calls or anytime I'm really feeling stressed. The second is sitting in silence. So this is something a mentor of mine basically presented to me back in the summer, and it was really fucking hard in the beginning because it's like usually like if you're focusing on your breath, you've got something to do, but when you're sitting in silence, you don't, and your mind goes nuts, and you feel like you need to get up and do things, and doing is based on performance. So if you think you need to perform, then you really just have a problem being.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really cool exercise to just like follow your thoughts, because oftentimes they're going to present something that you need to work on later. But eventually you'll get to the stage where you can just chill the fuck out, and then it's actually like really therapeutic. The third way is like sitting, or not sitting, but just being fucking mindful, like just putting the phone away and just being present, and like being fully like uh yeah, just being fully present whenever you're doing. So whether that's like going for a walk with my dog and not thinking about all the different things I have to do, but just like looking around and like fucking enjoying nature, or like eating my breakfast or my lunch without the TV on or the computer in the background. Um, just practicing mindfulness from that perspective is something that's super easy to do and like can be done at any time. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what it kind of looks like on a day-to-day basis. It changes a little bit, but those are kind of my staples.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it's the second one, the silence thing. I That was something I had to do with my life coach. I think it was 2 year or two ago now, where he's like, if you feel like you have to do something, like just sit there. And I think it kind of reminds you of like meditation too, where people think you have to sit there like a monk and have these weird positions or whatever it is, right? And it's like, the basis of meditation is just sitting with yourself. And like in reality, I think that's like the first step is just like you don't have to try and control your thoughts or whatever you're doing. Like you just sit there um, in silence with nothing else. And it's crazy, like you said, how hard it is at first. And there's so much going on. But there's a quote from Ram Dass that I always remember. Some people post on Instagram, but it's basically says, if you think you don't have time to sit there for 10 minutes, you should sit there for 10 hours.
Yeah,
Um,
100.
and it's like I always think of that when I'm like, man, I don't have time to just sit here for 10 minutes right now. I'm like, wait, I'm like, I know how much better I'm gonna feel and like everything after. So I always do that now. And I mean that's all I really do similarly. It's like I will do like usually 10 to 20 minutes a day. And I will set intervals a lot of times too, where it's like if I'm feeling like I can't do 10 or 20 minutes, I'll set like a 5 minute timer and then I'll just restart it. So it's like mentally, it seems like it's less time. Um,
Yeah.
and then I also liked, yeah, like what you're saying, the third point on the kind of mindfulness and taking your phone away and just eating without the TV. It's like actually just tasting your food, like take a bite and like think about what it tastes like. Like how many people don't even taste their food? They're just watching the news and like thinking about COVID and having no taste or something. I don't know. But um and like with the phone thing too, like every night I put my phone from 8 till 8 in the morning, like 8 p.m. till 8 a.m. I don't use my phone. So I'll
Mhm.
usually put it like in a drawer or in I have a cupboard in my kitchen. I also
Mhm.
don't like no phones in the bedroom. I haven't had a phone in my bedroom for like probably like a long time. I don't know, but I leave it in the kitchen and I leave my door open, and that's also helps me get up because my annoying ass alarm's in the kitchen. I have to walk out there, so you've like physically moved by the time you shut it off, instead of like
Yeah.
just rolling over and smacking it and then deciding to check Instagram for an hour and going back to sleep or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the exact same strategy. Well, first of all, I never tell anybody what to do. Like, I think people that, this is a complete side note, but I think in regards to like or lifestyle changes or whatever, like anyone that says you have to do something and can't do something else that helps you is just, it's just complete bullshit, and I throw
mhm.
their credibility. It's almost like say that. But yeah, in terms of like the phone thing, the just creating distance from it, and creating those like physical boundaries is something that I always recommend to people, especially if they have a hard time with it.
Mhm.
Um,
Like
Putting,
it.
first of all, having your phone outside of the bedroom and not being tempted to look at it late at night is going to help you get a better sleep. But it kind of forces you to put your fucking feet on the floor in the morning and get your to bed, which is awesome. But